It all begins where it starts. Zanoff and myself moved to Ireland from Canada the previous week. When we arrived, we were thinking of entering the Catholic Church. On Halloween night, however, fate had different ideas. That night, Bagan arrived, attacking the city of Belfast. Where did it come from? No one knows. No one knows, even to this day. But the important thing is, all of the sorcerers within Ireland were completely outmatched in power and strength. But then, she came along and saved us all. The little girl you are familiar with. And I doubt that she'd be able to respond to her own name. Out of curiosity, what is Index's original name? Elizabeth Victoria Montgomery. But after she sealed Bagan away with her magic in Mount Divis, she took all of its power away, most of which were crammed into Lady Montgomery's mind along with the over 130,000 grimoires. The churches feared that the power within her would be used against them. So they decided to reset her memories every year. But there was a flaw. What kind of flaw? The churches told everyone that if she didn't have her memories erased once a year, she will die. But Zanoff and I knew it was false. Before her memories were erased for the first time, Zanoff casted a spell so that no matter how many times her memories reset, she will always remember him, myself, and Halloween 1992. Oh. I didn't know whether to thank him or damn him for such a selfish thing. Although, I should go for the former since she would remember all of my teachings. But there was one problem. What's that? The stupid girl would rather eat if she didn't finish her lessons because she was constantly running around the world. Why am I not surprised? Anyhow, getting back on topic. Everything was quiet for the entire year. Zanoff and myself got into the Irish Catholic Church, as expected, and we each found love and half at that time, though priests are not supposed to do that. But the one that Zanoff chose was very interesting. Jonathan Zanoff and his girlfriend, Amanda McVeigh, walks into a massive room filled with 160 people. What is this? Why, this is the Irish Parliament, or the lower house to be specific. I think I shouldn't get myself involved in politics, especially when I'm still in the church. Baby, it's fine. I've already registered your name into the house. You did what? No, I'm out. Goodbye. He turns to walk away, but she grabs him by the arm, stopping him. Please, at least try it out. All right. What's today's topic? I believe it's an ongoing discussion. About Irish reunification. Reunification? Ireland was never as one? It's a long story. Come on, you're sitting next to me. Amanda walks ahead, with the reluctant Jonathan following suit. She sits in a seat in the front row of the right side. As he sits next to her, he looks around. It is a full house, and almost every member of Parliament are standing up or sitting down, talking to their colleagues. He faces forward and calmly sighs to himself. Let's hope this doesn't take long. A great roar of disapproval erupts and echoes throughout the hemicircle-shaped chamber. The chairperson, the Speaker of the House, Thomas McTavish, calls for order while banging on a bell next to him. The President of Ireland, Ethan Rosenthal, sitting in his seat, can only facepalm in disappointment. Zanoff himself taps his finger on the wooden railing out of frustration. 1 hour and no progress was made. This is getting us nowhere. I told you it was ongoing, didn't I? Yes, but I didn't think it would be this repetitive. Ladies and gentlemen, please! The chamber finally calms down, and one man stands up from his seat. Mr. Chairperson, Mr. President, I cannot believe that the leader of the opposition has been denying our request to the United Kingdom for Irish reunification. Why is that? Opposition leader Tobias Fletcher stands up. Because if we tried to explain all of this to the British, they wouldn't even sniff the idea of reunification. And Mr. Chairperson, can you please tell the Prime Minister that there are still terror attacks in this country and Northern Ireland? Another argument is about to break out. Zanoff bangs his fist on the wooden rail and stands up from his seat, getting the attention of everyone around him. If I may, I believe it is time for a new voice to speak his mind. Are you Jonathan McIntyre? I am. Sir, I would advise you to let my opponent do all the talking. No! What you need to do is to sit down and let someone new speak. The chairperson rings the bell, getting them to silence. I believe this man speaks the truth. So please, Sir Jonathan McIntyre, Speak your mind. Thank you. Now, all of you are asking why there cannot be a united Ireland because of the British. Well, of course the British doesn't want us to reunite, because they think it will backfire if we do. That may be true, but let me remind you all what happened in Ireland in the past 150 years. Being absorbed into the United Kingdom, the many times where the Catholics were mistreated, the Great Potato Famine, where they did not even think of our safety, our war for independence, the Civil War because the traitors decided to join their side instead of ours. And not to mention all of the countless acts of terrorism in both countries. And let us not forget Bagan's Halloween terror last year. And I know all of your brothers and sisters have perished on that day. My brother and I have prayed for their souls to ascend to heaven. But do you all want to know what the most interesting thing is? Despite the fact that the British promised to send help and aid, they ended up setting their face, denying to send the Royal Navy, the Royal Marines, the Royal Air Force, and even the British Army. And the fact that the Union Jack still remains in Belfast is telling me one thing. The British government is a dead government. The entire chamber of members agrees with him. They should have no moral right to decide whether or not Irish reunification is possible. Once again, the members agrees with him, and even the chairperson and president are agreeing with him. However, Halloween 1992 made the people of both Northern Ireland and the Republic realize, yes, we can help each other. Because who were the ones who decided to put their differences aside? We did. It made us realize, yes, we can become a more powerful force. Because who decided to send weapons and aid to the North? We did. A great cheer erupts in the chamber, then goes silent as he continues. And it seems that there have been inadvertent lies spreading throughout the country. So let me tell you the truth. After Halloween, the Northern Irish Parliament could agree to allow reunification, but they're too cowardly. A great cheer erupts. The British could agree to a notion to allow the North to reunite with us, but they too were too cowardly and blocked over 1.6 million people's votes. And that, my fellow colleagues and honorable members, is no wonder that the British Empire is collapsing. This mighty lion known as the United Kingdom has fallen from such grace and the world stage. And mark my words, ladies and gentlemen of the House, it will continue to do so forevermore. He sits down in his seat, and immediately all of the members stands up and claps, appreciating Zanoff's speech. His speech grabs the attention of those outside of the chamber, and the people in the other chamber, the House of Representatives, hears about the speech and is impressed. Later that evening in a 5-star restaurant, Zanoff and McVie are sitting down eating dinner. The latter looks away from her chicken salad and focuses on her boyfriend, silently eating a 6-ounce filet mignon. Is there something on your mind, dear? No. Why do you ask? It's just that you haven't said anything since this afternoon. I'm kind of worried. Oh, that. Well, I needed to speak what was on my mind, that's all. I'm surprised the people were able to listen. I'm surprised that the chairperson didn't hit the bell. I guess even he wanted the debate to end. I think we would have continued if anything. And all of my efforts were all for naught. Not necessarily, sir. The two look away from each other. They see a man in a suit approaching them. Sir, do you mind not interrupting our conversation while we eat? Oh, there you are. Huh? Darling? This is Samuel Hooper, a member of Sinn Féin. What is that? The political party of Ireland. And you lost me at political. Hold on, sir. Please, hear me out. All right. Speak. I heard what happened in the Parliament. You had every member in the palm of your hand. Well, that is what happens when you are stuck in a stalemate. You got to do something to end it. No, it's not just that. You've got great skills as an orator. I could use someone like you. Unfortunately, as a priest of the Irish Catholic Church, I am not allowed to step into politics. And another thing is that politics in general are a massive headache. All it takes is one single disagreement and the entire thing becomes a mess, especially with multiple parties involved. Well, Father McIntyre, if that's so, then you shouldn't be dating Amanda right now. Zanoff looks at him with vicious scorn. I'm just joking with you. The important thing is that there's only one party. And Sinn Féin is also looking to unite all of Ireland. I don't know. He feels Amanda's hands touching his. Looking at her, he can see the smile on her face. Come on, darling. It'll give you something to do. And I'm sure that the people will love you in your speeches. Jonathan looks at both his girlfriend and Hooper with determined smiles on their faces. All right, I'll do it. Hooper extends his hand out. Welcome to Sinn Féin, Jonathan McIntyre. Zanoff. He shakes the man's hand. Jonathan Zanoff. Why didn't he just reject it? He had the option to do so, but I guess it was a matter of making his fiancée happy. Yet I'm sure you would do the same for a certain someone. Anyhow, while I was busy with duties of a priest in the Catholic Church in Northern Ireland, Zanoff was busy making a name for himself in the Republic. How is he able to get the people's attention? In our golden years, he has a natural gift of being an amazing speaker. I just so happen to follow in his footsteps. But there was, or is, another thing that he specializes. What's that? Making promises come true, no matter the difficulty. For example, he promised to marry Amanda, and he did just that in 1994. It also gave me the opportunity to speak to him after over a year. Both McIntyre and Zanoff walks along the cathedral together. So, you are a married man. Congratulations. Now I'm just waiting for you to follow suit. When I exit the church is when I will do it. And thank you for letting me be your marriage certificate. Of course. And speaking of the church, how is it so far? Tiring. Cleansing so many sinners is like you're doing forced labor. But it became a daily routine for me. Though I can't say the same for you. Although she should be able to support my efforts. Brother, he stops in place, then Zanoff stops, looking at his concerned face. I am worried about you. I understand that you want to make your life as happy as possible, but I have researched so much of this world's history. Really? What did you find? Let's just say that some of what I found concerns me. If you become a leader, there could be the possibility that you may lose something important, and what the outcome will be. What is making you think like this? Do I need to remind you of all of those years ago? I nearly lost my life just to contain you. I have not forgotten, but I promise you that it will not happen again. But I will defend myself if need be. Good. Now, are you ready for a married life? Ready as I will ever be. The brothers laughs, and then they walk away. Hold on! Time out! Did you say brother? Yes. Zanoff is your brother? As in flesh and blood, brother? Yes, indeed. Okay, then. God, shit! I deserve that one. Damn, I didn't think it would hurt my right hand. And I'm surprised he took it like a man. I have been taking hits with more brutality in my youth. Your punch was surprisingly weak despite the amount of power in it. Well, that's the first. So, what happened next? Zanoff left the church as expected, and his speeches were gaining more popularity not just in the Republic, but in Northern Ireland. His message was clear: Irish reunification. And yet, there was one thing that was a worrying issue: corruption. Why do you say that? Let's just say that there was a hint of jealousy from people who are above him. But Zanoff has his own limits. Irish President Ethan Rosenthal walks along the hallway. He turns the corner and right away stumbles upon Zanoff and his pregnant wife, Amanda. Well, if it isn't the Secretary of State himself, how do you feel about that new position? Zanoff and Amanda turns to him. Oh, it has its challenges, but it is something to get used to. It should not concern you. Oh no, because it does concern me. Amanda grabs hold of her husband's arm. Come on, honey, let's go. Why? Because I want to be anywhere but near him. Her words are filled with hatred towards one man, and Zanoff takes note of it. He does not seem to be a horrible person. No, he is. If I were you, I'd keep my mouth shut. Unless you want that child to never see the light of day. Zanoff's eyebrow twitches. You know, Johnny, I don't know why you even bothered joining the party. You're just going to be another pawn in my quest to become more powerful than the Prime Minister. Hell, even something greater. But it seems to me that you're going to be an obstacle. I promise that when I get to that level, I will personally ruin your life. Zanoff stares at the man with vicious and furious anger. Ethan turns around and starts walking. But then he is stopped when Zanoff grabs his left shoulder. That is your promise? Well, here is my promise to you. If you ever disrespect me or my wife ever again, and if you dare put your hands on her, I will personally behead you. Johnny, you don't have to. I am handling this. You and I both know that is an empty promise, and I can say whatever the hell I want to that bitch. And keep your hands to yourself. Zanoff's grip becomes tighter. The Secretary of State reaches to his side and grips the handle of Hades. Amanda steps back from him. Who said that my promises are empty? What? Zanoff throws the president against the wall. God! You motherfucker! The blade of Hades touches under his jaw, cutting the man off. He stares into Zanoff's eyes filled with intent and rage. Instantly, a sense of fear for his life overtakes the feeling of fury. Like I said, I will personally behead you. So my advice to you, Mr. President, tread lightly, or you will be the one replaced. He removes the axe hammer from his jaw and puts it back to his side. Come, Amanda. The married couple storms away from the president, of whom is breathing heavily, rubbing his chin. I'm surprised he didn't kill him. He was holding back. In our old life, he tends to resolve issues with Hades. But when his newly born daughter Jennifer was born, he wanted to set an example as a father. But even then, Ethan Rosenthal, as you would say, crossed the line. Four individuals with knives and pistols with silencers stands at the back door of the Zanoff house. One of them is picking the lock. Are you sure this is the house? Yeah, this is the house. If it's the president's description. It's a real shame. He would have played along, but he couldn't control himself. Hey, at least he was a great talker. Well, the talker is about to be silenced. Got it. Let's get it done. Mohan quietly opens the door, and the four silently enters the house, entering the kitchen. They enter the living room. Algara flashes the light around. He spots the TV, then he finds a few baby toys. Hey, they have a kid? That wasn't mentioned. What should we do? Probably put the kid in an orphanage. Suddenly, he hears the sound of something being thrown. Then, there's the sound of broken bone. He turns around. Oi, can you stop? He and Heron stares at their colleagues. Their heads are gone, and blood spews out like a fountain. Their bodies falls to the floor. What the hell? A loud bang goes off in the room, accompanied by a split-second flash. Heron gets knocked off of his feet and slams against the wall behind him. As he hits the floor, he looks at his chest. It is open and his heart is exposed, but the heart itself is ruptured and blood is pouring out rapidly. Heron struggles to breathe, goes limp, and then he stops. Henning's hands trembles as he aims his pistol in the darkness. Who's there? Show yourself! With pleasure. He hears two claps and the lights turns on. They reveal Jonathan Zanoff and Amanda Zanoff sitting together on a family couch, with the former summoning Hades back to his right hand and the latter holding and aiming an M1897 shotgun. I advise you to disarm and lower your weapon on the floor, then kick it over here. We will not ask twice. Henning becomes shocked at the sight of the two. He slowly ejects the clip from the pistol, ejects the bullet from the chamber, and puts it on the floor. Then he puts his hands up and kicks it to their feet. Zanoff picks it up and slices it in half with Hades. Pieces of the M9 flies all over the living room. Zanoff turns his attention to his wife. Where did you get that? My father was a veteran of the war and a Holocaust survivor, and he lended it to me. Ah, I have heard of the latter. You have an amazing man in your family. And he taught this Jewish girl how to defend his house against intruders, the American way. Speaking of which, she cocks the shotgun with malicious intent, and Zanoff turns to Henning. Would you like to explain why you entered our house without permission? Wait, how did you know that? My brother-in-law informed Johnny. Then he told me. We knew the whole time, you stupid Okay. We are only following orders to assassinate you. By who? Rosenthal. It was Rosenthal. Really? Ethan Rosenthal ordered my death. What is he, a dictator? And you following orders? And you following orders is not a good enough excuse for your actions. Look, we can just forget about this whole thing, and I'll pretend that, yeah, that's not going to happen. You know what, Amanda? I am coming to a realization. Zanoff stands up from the couch and slowly walks over to the terrified Henning. I am realizing that this kind of corruption has gone on for far too long, and I think it is time for a change. Would you agree, Mr. Henning? Henning? Wait, I have heard of you. You are part of the IRA, are you not? Yes, sir. I ask you, what is the point of you being a soldier if the army is not really an army, but instead acting more like a mercenary organization in multiple groups? Do you not want a real, legitimate army with divisions, brigades, and generals? Well, sir, it was the way that it was structured, and we're currently going through the troubles at the moment. Eddie touches the side of his neck. When has that ever stopped someone from forming a real army? Now, answer me this. Has Rosenthal always been power-hungry? I don't know. The blade slightly digs into his neck. I do not tolerate lies in this house. Yes! Yes! Now, answer me this. What will it take for someone to become president of Ireland? If someone is over 35 and is a citizen of the Republic, but the title of president is only ceremonial, it's the prime minister that holds the power. That will have to wait. Right now, I will be focusing on becoming president. But as long as Ethan is in power, we can't do anything about it. Or so you think, because that encounter in Parliament was not only a warning, but a promise. He claims that it is empty. Unfortunately, he is utterly mistaken. And that is his downfall. But if you kill him, who will take care of his wife and daughter? Zenoff's right eyebrow lifts. He removes Hades from Henning's neck and puts it to his right side. Well, this is a surprise. The tyrant has a family. I know about it. His daughter's name is Esther. She and her mother Rosie are not like Ethan. That is a relief. But I can tell you that even they are not very fond of Ethan, especially Esther, who is getting the worst treatment. He turns around to her concerned. Child abuse? Unfortunately, yes. But I also heard rumors about him forcing her to raise the dead. He clenches his fist out of anger. So, what do you plan on doing, Mr. Secretary? I will be putting my name in the ballots to become the new Irish president. I will see to it that Ethan Rosenthal is executed by me, and I will improve the living standards for everyone. Most importantly, Mr. Henning, I will not dissolve the IRA, but it will be rebranded to the Irish Military Police. He turns back to him. A real Irish army will be formed, along with a Navy and an Air Force. What about the Marine Corps? Unnecessary. But I will be forming a branch for the Crusaders, working in tandem with the Navy and the Air Force. Oh, but what if Rosenthal finds out? Zanoff smiles. He will never know. He points to his head, and I know who will help us. I looked after Jennifer as that was going on. And yes, he did know someone who could help. He did? Yes, me. You helped him? I am one of the only people that he trusts. I was not convinced at first, until I saw Esther at her bar mitzvah. A mass gathering of Jewish people greets and meets Esther Rosenthal with gifts. But as they do, they can see the bruises on her body as well as her mother's body, as she bravely puts on a smile, causing them to slightly wince and pray silently to her. Then came Amanda, McIntyre, and his brother Zanoff. They approach the little girl, and they too can see the bruises. Zanoff kneels down to his knees. Hello, little one. You must be Esther. Yes, sir. Are you friends with my father? I wouldn't say that, but is he here? No. Oh my. Both brothers spot something that catches their attention. An X-like scar is engraved on the left side of her chest. My God. It is even worse than I thought. Now do you see? Yes, I do. All right, I will see what I can do. Help me. The brothers and Amanda looks to Esther, shedding tears and trying her best not to cry. Please, help me. All three can feel the pain in her voice. Zanoff kneels down to her once more. Do not worry, Esther. Everything is going to be all right. I promise you. You and your mother will be safe from him. Remember these words." Hearing his words of comfort and confidence, Esther genuinely smiles and nods as she feels a sense of hope. Wait, I just realized something. Rosenthal sounds German to me. Are they German by chance? They are. Why were they living in Ireland and not Germany? Esther's grandparents fled from Germany to Ireland in 1933 when the Nazis came into power. Because of their Jewish heritage, you should know what would have happened if they stayed in Germany. Anyhow, Zanoff took it upon himself to help Esther. Ironically, she looks at him as a better father figure. Can't imagine what he thinks of him now. And so, the day had finally come, and I had some help from the Catholic Church and my pupil. "12 Irish sorcerers are walking down the street. They come to the Rosenthal residence. Francis, with the 10-year-old Kaori Kinzaki behind him, is leading them. They approach the front door. With Gaia drawn, he kicks it open, immediately meeting random people. All of you, hands up! What the? Who the hell are you? Are you going to sing our prayers? The group of men laughs. Suddenly, they are cut off when a massive line of concrete catches and locks them against the wall. As they do, their weapons fall to the floor. The sorcerers aims their magic powers at them. I have researched into all of you, and you are all under arrest for crimes against the Irish Republic. Where is Esther? He hears screams of Rosie calling out to a man to leave her and her daughter alone. You 12, stay here. Kaori, follow me. The two runs to where the voices are coming from. McIntyre barges into the kitchen and immediately spots two men aiming their pistols at Rosie and Esther. Remember what I taught you? Yes, sir. She unsheathes her sword and dashes forward, slicing off the man's legs with ease. At the same time, McIntyre dashes and thrusts his sword into the first man through his chest, into his heart, with Kinzaki doing the same to the other. They dig their blades out, and the assassin falls over dead. Esther runs to her mother, crying, and Rosie comforts her. McIntyre shakes the blood from his sword and sheathes it. He turns his attention to his young pupil. Well done. It looks like that you are ready for 7 flashes. Thank you, Sensei. Now then. They turn their attention to the Rosenthals. They approach and kneels down to them. Are you two all right? Thank you. Thank you so much, Father McIntyre. Esther lets go of her mother and hugs Francis. It is okay. You are safe. Now then, let us head for the Parliament building. What for? To see your father put on trial for his crimes. At 8:00 a.m. inside of the lower house of the Parliament, business begins as usual. Ethan sits down in his seat. Let's begin today's business. Let me start off by introducing... Zanoff stands up from his seat. You will do no such thing. He looks at the secretary, who stares back at him. My fellow colleagues, Mr. Chairperson, I would like to propose a new item, the removal of President Rosenthal from power. And I second that proposal. That's very nice, but that is not going to happen. Sir, we, the Senate, accuse President Rosenthal for abusing power, intimidating political parties, and wrongfully... Zanoff, you have no right to speak against the leading head of Parliament. Now I demand that you be... Zanoff slams his fist on the wooden rail. And wrongfully torturing those who wish to criticize him. You have no evidence to support that claim, and I am not going anywhere. The doors bursts open. Irish military police officers runs into the chamber, gets in formation, and aims their M1911 pistols at Rosenthal. Henning, in a 3-piece suit, walks up behind them. Ethan Rosenthal, you are under arrest. What is this? Then shut your fucking mouth. You heard what I said? Hands up. Now! When Michael hears about this, he will do no such thing. He turns to Zanoff. Michael O'Connor will not hear about this because he has been replaced by Henning, who took up the responsibility. We had made a deal that benefited his survival. Not against me, but you. And we have collected all of the evidence against you. The consequences of your actions will be swift and brutal. Nothing unclean shall enter heaven. That was some plan. I'm guessing that Kinzaki wasn't part of the Amoxa yet. Partially. Anyhow, the grand trial of Ethan Rosenthal had begun, and we made sure that no one interfered in what was to come, and the outcome was a landslide. Crowds of Irish citizens, inside and outside, witnesses, and the jury watches Ethan in handcuffs, looking down on the floor, defeated. As the jury reached the verdict, Francis McIntyre, part of the jury, stands up with a piece of paper in his hands. Yes, Your Honor. We, the jury, find Ethan Rosenthal guilty on the charges of crimes against humanity, corruption, 798 cases of sexual assault, child abuse, and power abuse. Thank you. Mr. Rosenthal, you will be sentenced to death by beheading. The court is adjourned. He hits the gavel twice. 1 hour later, inside of another room, a bag is wrapped around Ethan's head by Francis, then his body is laid out on a table. Zanoff unsheathes Hades and aims it at the back of Ethan's neck. I tried to tell you, Ethan. My promises are never empty. So, what will happen to Rosie and Esther? I have an idea for that. Jonathan lifts up the axe hammer, and then he swings it down. The head of Ethan Rosenthal comes clean off, and it falls into a bucket with blood pouring out. At 1:10 p.m. outside of the building, Zanoff stops both Rosie and Esther. Hey, are you two okay? I feel relieved. You saved both me and my daughter. I owe you my life, Jonathan. As a family man myself, I will do whatever it takes to protect those I love. His attention turns to Esther. He digs into his pocket. I have something that I want to give you. What is it? He takes out a pair of tickets and hands them to the little girl. She and Rosie looks at them and sees where their destination is. But Berlin. Berlin? Why Berlin? Germany has been safe for 51 years. So I thought you should return to the place where your grandparents came from. That's very thoughtful of you, but we wouldn't know where to live in Berlin. I got it covered. I have an acquaintance waiting for you in the city. She will be taking care of you going forward. But, Johnny, Ireland has been our home for years. We can't... Rosie. Stop. Looking at his eyes, he is being serious. Do you understand what is going on? It is clear that Ireland has had enough of the name Rosenthal. In Germany, they will welcome you with open arms. The woman looks down and nods her head. He kneels down and stares into Esther's eyes. Safe travels, yes? She does not say a word, but give him a hug. I never thought it would be you. She stops hugging him and the family walks away. Zanoff stands up and walks into the other direction. Neither did I. He approaches his wife holding their daughter and the two walks together. McIntyre and Kazaki comes up beside them. It had to be done. No other outcome. So what comes next? Fulfilling my next promise. Did he? Indeed. The campaign trail was tremendous. While I was promoted to Archbishop of the Irish Catholic Church, he had gained more popularity because of the death of Ethan Rosenthal. As such, the outcome was never in doubt. A packed concert hall watches composer Alan Neary as he composes the closing notes of the song Le Perlis by Friends List. On the balcony, new Irish President Jonathan Zanoff, his wife Amanda, their 1-year-old daughter Jennifer, and his brother McIntyre with his secret fiancée Angela watches the live performance. The brothers look at each other. Both are feeling the uncertainty for the future, but they will enjoy what is in front of them and continue to watch the orchestra.